Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Easter. I am your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your week and your future. Yes, it is that time. Sunday evening, which means that it's time to talk about the week forecast. Now, what week? Obviously, this week, this new one, that being from Sunday, April the 5th, going into Saturday, April the 11th. So we have some stuff to talk about here. And for the most part, it's going to be a pretty quiet week. Going to be a pretty quiet week. And we're going to get into the specifics in terms of anomalies for temperatures and precipitation and stuff like that. But what is on tap for tonight? Well, a cold front will move through tonight into early Monday. We also will talk about cooler temperatures that dominate the work week from Monday through Thursday. Mostly dry conditions prevail Monday through midweek under that building high pressure. And then also, increased fire weather concerns develop midweek, especially Tuesday through Wednesday. So all of that we're going to talk about. But if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good 8 people that have tuned in so far and only 5 likes. So let's go on and get those likes up. Also hit the subscribe button. We are at 726, trying to get to that main goal of 800. And then also share with your friends, your family members, and your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. It could be somebody that you saw at your church service today that you have not shared it to yet. Anybody, doesn't matter. Go on and share it so that we can go on and get the weather out, get the important information out, and it's free. I will not take a penny out of your bank account for you subscribing or for supporting the channel. Starting off, though, let's go on and talk about what's currently going on. Well, currently, there is some rainfall going on. You see rainfall going on from Dillon down through Florence, down through Manning, also through Orangeburg, Bamberg, Bowman, down into Allendale. And then you also see some rainfall off the coast of the Low Country. You see some rainfall down near Savannah, Georgia. You see some rainfall up here inside of Carolina Forest, in North Myrtle Beach, in Loris, South Carolina. And so these are more just shower activity. This is more of just shower activity, nothing in terms of heavy rainfall. We do have some rainfall also up here near Lockhart, Union, South Carolina. And so this is looking, again, just like more like shower activity. Nothing too active or nothing too heavy in terms of precipitation as we get into tonight. And that's going to continue to die out as we get into the next couple hours. But if we go in and look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S., what do you see? You see rainfall and some snowfall. You see this huge storm system. Look at this huge storm system that goes all the way from Maine down into the Northeast, down off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic, into the Carolinas, into Georgia, into Florida, into Alabama. And then you look over into eastern Texas. You look into Louisiana. You see into western Texas. You see even into Mexico. Rainfall from this system is ongoing. And that's not even the whole extent, because we have some snow on the backside. You see rainfall and snowfall in New York. You see some rainfall going on over here in Wisconsin, in Iowa, in the UP of Michigan. This overall is a huge storm system. Now, this back part right here may not be associated with the storm, but still, even if we don't include that area right here, this is still a pretty big storm system to cover, especially for a lot of areas. And it's been like that for the past couple of days, with severe weather going on, with ice, with snow, with sleet, with just everything that goes on. Now, if we go and look at the cloud cover right now actually seems to be going throughout the majority of the state. We have cloud cover in the upstate, cloud cover in the Midlands, the Low Country, the Grand Strand, the PD areas. All of these areas have cloud cover right now. And so that cloud cover for the future will not let up. Here we go, starting off here at 9 p.m. We go all the way into tomorrow morning. Here's 7 a.m. Still completely covered. Remember, blue is cloud cover. Completely covered up with cloud cover. You continue all the way through 1 p.m. tomorrow, going into 5 p.m., 8 p.m., 10, 12 a.m. on Tuesday now. Completely covered up still with cloud cover. Tuesday morning, here's 7 a.m. Finally, we're starting to see some relief in terms of cloud cover on Tuesday. Then as we go into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, or Tuesday, more of like Tuesday late afternoon. Cloud cover continues to move its way off, and we're probably not going to be completely clear until probably Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. So cloud cover is expected to continue, especially as we get into tomorrow. Now, what about for our current temperatures? Well, right now we have around 68 in Somerville, Charleston, 69 in Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, 67 in Orangeburg, 68 in Columbia, and 69 in Sumter, 68 inside of Conway, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown. You also have around a good 66 in Union, Newbury, as well as 65 in Greenwood, 63 Anderson, Clemson, 61 in Greenville, 62 Spartanburg, 66 in York, Rock Hill, 65 in Lancaster, as well as 68 in Bennettsville. Air quality for tonight, for the most part, we're good. We have a little bit of a moderate area going on over there in like Berkeley County, northern Dorchester County, going on over there in Colleton County. But that's not the worst. If you have to go out tonight, just keep an eye on it. But I don't think that that's going to cause too many problems. Low temperatures for tonight, we have around 44. Yes, 40s are coming back. 44 Greenville, 44 Spartanburg, 45 Rock Hill, 45 Anderson, Lawrence, 48 in Winsboro, 49 in Camden, 51 in Columbia and Sumter, as well as Kingstree, Florence, 53 also inside of Barnwell and Orangeburg, 54 Moncks Corner, Walterboro, 53 Georgetown, 57 Charleston, and 60 in Hilton Head Island. Now for our high temperatures, we have around a good 70. Greenville, 70. Spartanburg, as well as 69 in Anderson, 69 Lawrence, Rock Hill, even 69 in Newbury, 71 Columbia, 70 in Aiken, 70 Orangeburg and Walterboro, as well as 70 in Moncks Corner, 69 in Charleston, and 71 in Hilton Head Island, 68 in Georgetown, and 66 in Myrtle Beach. Now, if we go on and look at the rainfall totals, the rainfall totals for tonight going into tomorrow, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch goes on for a good amount of the state. Shiraz included, Sumter's included, Orangeburg, Walterboro, Charleston, Hilton Head Island, even Barnwell. Then a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible for Moncks Corner still, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach. And then somebody may even see a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. So this does start at 8 p.m. So obviously it's been an hour. So if you are part of this area and you've already seen your rainfall since 8 o'clock p.m., you may not see anymore just because you started your precipitation at 8 p.m. But for some areas who still have not seen rainfall since 8 p.m., your threat is still not done for tonight for rainfall. So especially as we look over again at the current conditions, if I can go ahead and get that back up real quick, which is not wanting to work with me right now, but from what we saw earlier, we still saw that there was a line of showers still going on over there in the west, like the western low country, the southern Midlands. We saw it going down through Bowman. We saw it going down through Allendale. We saw it through Manning. We saw it through going up near Dillon, going up near Bennettsville. Those areas still saw some rainfall. So even though you may see this and you may be like, oh, well, we already got our rainfall for the day, so we probably not going to get any more. No, not necessarily the case. Now, what about for the crazy score? If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And this is for tonight. We are at a 17, the mild category, which makes sense. I mean, we have decreasing clouds. Clouds are still going on. Also, winds going to be not breezy, but around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Conditions are drying off, especially after we get into around 9 to 10 p.m. And then also, due to that cold front moving through, with some of those breezing conditions, temperatures are going to be dropping. The air mass is going to become drier, meaning less humid conditions. All of that's going to result just from the cold front. Now, again, decreasing clouds, skies, start for the most part. They're going to start for the most part just completely cloudy, but I do believe that the National Weather Service thinks that it could be more of just like a mostly cloudy mindset instead of just a full cloudy. But we just saw the models that were from 3 p.m. and they still show completely cloudy conditions by the time we get into tonight going into tomorrow. So we'll see how the cloud cover plays out, though. SPC outlook for tonight. Still have a marginal risk of severe weather over there in the eastern parts of the state. Florence, Myrtle Beach is included. Into eastern Berkeley, Charleston counties is included in there as well. And I think that threat, for the most part, is mainly trying to get over. At this point in time. At this point. So we'll see how that continues to go on and when the next update comes out. But I do think that the severe threat is pretty much done with. We did get a special weather statement at my house earlier. I do know that. We did have a special weather statement earlier for some strong winds that moved through, I believe, said around 40, 50 miles per hour from a thunderstorm that we got earlier. So we did get some rainfall. In fact, we got a good amount of rainfall. I'll talk about that once we talk with the audience. Tomorrow, thunderstorms are not expected. Same thing with Tuesday, so we have nothing to watch for there. Fire weather. I'm going to paint a picture real quick. Stay with me real quick. I'm going and paint a picture. So, nothing for tonight, by the way. Fire weather, we're good. But I want you to look at Tuesday. Tuesday, you're looking at this, and you're like, okay, I see a little bit of a critical condition risk over to the west of us. Not in the state, but it's there. Now, I want you to imagine that as we go on and continue throughout tomorrow, we get throughout Monday, we get throughout Tuesday, and you usually look at severe weather risk, and you're like, okay, usually the more far out we are, the less confident we are. That's correct. Now, usually what happens with severe weather risk by the time we get closer? They usually either shrink, just due to more confidence or less confidence that something will happen, or they will expand. Now, fire weather risk usually don't shrink that much, but I mean they can. Obviously, nothing's impossible, but they can shrink. This risk right here, when we look back on the what's on tap screen, I said increased fire weather concerns develop midweek, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. And one thing that we do know about the fire weather outlooks is that even though they may not be included, even though we may not be included directly in the critical condition risk, there is sometimes still a little fire weather threat. Like, for example, the thunderstorm risk. There's the marginal risk, and then you have the light green risk. Remember, the light green, that's not severe weather, but you still could have some strong storms with it. This is what it's kind of like for the fire weather outlook. This could either expand and make its way more into South Carolina, or we may just be on the brink of getting into the critical conditions, but not confident enough or not dangerous enough for us to be inside of a critical conditions risk. So, just think about that picture real quick. And then, as we go even into Wednesday, that's where things start to get a little bit more on the confident side. Wednesday, you start to see more of a fire weather risk over inside of Aiken, over there near McCormick, over there as well, just to the west of Columbia. And that has a 40 to a 69, yes, a 40 to a 69% chance of bringing us some fire weather conditions. So keep that in mind as we continue to go throughout next week. And if you are planning to burn anything on Tuesday and Wednesday, just, keep an eye out for it as we continue throughout. Now, no excessive rainfall is expected, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and talk about the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure you go on and pay attention to that. So starting off here at around 9 p.m., as we always do. Now, if you go on and push this forward, obviously that rainfall is going to continue to go on and move its way over into the east. That's around 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2, 3, 4 a.m. as well. And so you do, in fact, see rainfall continuing near the coastal areas by the time we get to around 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. as well. So we're not technically, according to the 18Z, not going to be completely done with rainfall activity until later tonight, early tomorrow morning. But by 8 a.m., it looks like that we are mostly done. Now, as we continue throughout Monday, late morning, going into the afternoon, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. on Monday. Rainfall is continuing to kind of try and move its way to the east. But what do you see? You see like some very light drizzle activity, if that even does happen. So the way how we're looking at it right now, this is at 10 p.m. Let's go back to 10 p.m. and then to 11 p.m. You can see some little blues going on throughout the low country. That's not accumulable precipitation, most likely. That would be like a little drizzle, if anything. And so that wouldn't really do too much to accumulate anything. And so we're also going to go on and talk about the week forecast, and I'm going to talk about something especially for the coastal areas. But this is what we're looking at in terms of 11 p.m. then to 12 a.m. tomorrow morning. 12 a.m. not tomorrow morning, but Tuesday morning. And so it's going to move out, and we're still going to be dry. But I don't think that rainfall that we just saw, even that little drizzle activity on Tuesday, is really going to cause too much of a concern at all. In fact, it may not even help us at all in terms of our drought. Now, if we go on and look at our long-term future, because obviously we have the cold front that has just passed us tonight, and it's going to continue to go through Monday morning. Look at how dry it is. This is starting off here Tuesday at 5 p.m. We're getting all the way into Wednesday, all the way into Thursday. Take a look at the coastal area. Look at the difference between the coastal areas and then the upstate. The coastal areas have some rainfall right on it. But look at the upstate. Upstate is way, 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 way drier than what you're seeing. And so if you continue all the way into around 5 p.m. on Thursday, or 5 a.m. on Thursday, excuse me, the coastal areas continue to see some rainfall here and there, but it's nothing like too drought busting. It's nothing too relieving. Nothing too relieving at all. We get through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So even though we want the rainfall. We want rainfall for sure. That is what we want, because we want this drought to get out. We want this drought to get out of the state. We have a drought going on up there in the upstate, low country, Grand Strand, PD areas, also in the Midlands as well. We want rainfall. But from what I am seeing this week, and I said it yesterday, I am not too hopeful. I'm not too hopeful at all that this rainfall that we're going to receive, if we receive any this week, is really going to be too drought busting. So that's why I said, if you want the rainfall, you have to be banking on rainfall this weekend. You have to be banking on rainfall this weekend, because if you don't get the rainfall this weekend, then it's going to be pretty hard, especially if you're not near the coastal areas, to get that rainfall next week or this week. And so as you continue all the way through Sunday, Monday of not today and tomorrow, but next week, still dry conditions. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, you see some rainfall here and there, but what else is there to see? Absolutely nothing. This is Tuesday, April the 21st. Again, this is just a snapshot. This is not, actually what's going to happen. But just like a little prediction, 384 hours out, you don't see any rainfall throughout the southeast. Nothing. It's completely dry throughout the entire southeast. Nothing's going on. And so this dry period will continue with us. This dry period will continue to stay with us, and it will continue to impact us throughout the rest of April. So that's what we're looking at in terms of our long-term future in terms of rainfall. Now, if we go on real quick and we look at the week forecast, precipitation. If you were just looking at it and you were just paying attention to what I was just saying a couple of minutes ago with the coastal areas, according to the forecast, it says that the coastal areas may be a bit above average in terms of rainfall, and honestly, I'm not quite sure about that. Let me make sure I have week 1 here. Yeah, this is week 1. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be above average. Now, this page supplies graphical forecasts from numerical weather models, global models with imagery for the entire world, the Euro, the AIFS, Well, both Euros, the GFS, the Icon, the CMC. So what we were just looking at was the GFS. We can go in and look at the other ones as well, but GFS did not show an above average scenario for the coastal areas. It did show the below average up there for the upstate and for the Midland areas, which is what I was expecting. But according to this model right here from Tropical Tidbits, they said, "Hey, we're gonna get above average precipitation rates, not only throughout the Grand Strand areas near like Myrtle Beach, near Conway, near Lourdes, but stretching all the way down through Georgetown, through Charleston, through Somerville, through Latson, through Walterboro, through all the way into Allendale, into Beaufort, into Hilton Island." And so we're going to continue to keep an eye on this and see how this develops and see, does it verify, does it not verify? All of this we're going to keep an eye on. Now, if we go on and look at the temperatures, on the other hand say we're going to be a bit above average, which I can say that it probably could be because, again, this does include, does this include Sunday? It does include 6 a.m. April the 12th, or it goes all the way to April the 12th, and it goes all the way from the 5th. So, it's possible as well, that this rainfall that we are receiving today and this temperature that we are receiving today could also be aiding to that fact as well. And that may be the case. We'll see what happens once we go in and look at the other models as well. But temperatures, according to this model right now from Tropical Tidbits, say we're going to be above average throughout statewide, especially if you're up there inside of the upstate. Now, obviously, we know cold air is coming through, and here it is right here. We're going to start off on Monday, 2 a.m. You can see that cold air moving its way down. I mean, we're 10, 15 degrees below average tomorrow in terms of temperatures. We continue through Tuesday, continuing to be 10, 15 degrees below average. Wednesday, still below average. Thursday, still below average. Look at Friday, though. Friday, we're going to have a little bit more of an increase in terms of those temperatures, but we're still just staying near normal. We are still just staying near normal all the way through Friday. Saturday comes along, and we are still just staying near normal. This is a huge change from what we were looking at yesterday. Look at what yesterday's looked like. A huge change. A huge change from what we were looking at yesterday. It was showing us 5 to 10 degrees above average. Look at what it looks like today. Only like a degree or two above average. So, according to the GFS, it says, hey, we may not get warmer until a bit later than usual. So Saturday moves through, and we do get a little bit warmer as we get into into Saturday, and then Sunday as well. But as we get into the week after, we look warm. We're having fun in the sun the next week. We're having 10, 15 degrees above average. I mean, we're 20 degrees above average in some parts, which I know for a lot of people they're going to be excited about. But I would actually be excited for a good little bit until we look at yesterday's. And yesterday, we had a huge cold blast move through. Look at what we had yesterday. Yesterday, we were looking at kind of like in a below freezing or like a below average system that tries to come in as we get into next weekend or the weekend after. Look at what we have today. A complete flip. So that's why I always say, take these models with a grain of salt, especially once you get 200 to 300 hours out, because we've had now 2 big shifts just overnight. 2 big shifts just overnight. So keep that in mind as we continue to go throughout the next 300 to 400 hours or so. And so even if you go on and look at our official temperatures as well, you can definitely see our temperatures really dropping. Here's 60, maybe getting to 70 degrees tomorrow. Tuesday comes along. We may not even reach 70 on Tuesday. Then we get into Wednesday, lows still getting down to the 40s. Wednesday, highs possibly not even reaching the high 60s. Then once we get into Thursday, things start to kind of uptrend a little bit. We get some more 70s here and there. So we do technically warm up, but it's not really a huge warm up. Then look at Saturday. We're starting to get more up into the 80s. Sunday, We get more up into the 80s. Then as we continue our way through, look at this. 90s potentially trying to make its way through next week. I've been saying, let's watch for it, but it's still here. It is still here. The models have not given up on the idea of 90s yet throughout the state next week. So we'll continue to watch for it. We'll continue to watch, but I will say, continue to take these models with a grain of salt. It can change overnight really quickly. It definitely can. But again, just in terms for the week, it does look like that we will be more above average in terms of temperatures and in terms of precipitation. Possibly, it kind of just depends. Coastal areas maybe a bit more above average, while the more inland areas get a bit more below average. And so the European model kind of says the same thing as the GFS kind of shows it to be a little bit more on the drier side as well. So I think that model that I was showing earlier in terms of the precipitation averages may include today as well. That may be the reason why it shows an above average week, because it does include today. So that's the only thing that I can think of, at least. And that's all that I have to say here in terms of the long-term future and in terms of the week. No earthquakes today or anything like that. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say here for tonight. One quick second, real quick. Okay, I do apologize for that. I'm back now. Let's go in and check it out. Let me go in and change this over to the live audience. And so my Lewis starts off with saying, good Sunday evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Then, Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. My Nana says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. Mr. Chris also says, got you around 84 degrees here today after the rain dropped to around 74. Honestly, today, let me check and see. My high temperature for today was around a good 84. Got you around 84 degrees today. What time? Probably, let's see. Temperature has got up to around 84 at around 210. 210. That's where it got the highest at. And then currently it's 68. Currently it's 68. My Lucy, I pray that everyone had a wonderful resurrection day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. And then my nana says the rain was fairly hard. Yeah, it was at my house as well. I did say how much rainfall I was going to get. And we got on the, well, actually not on the dot, off the dot by 100th of an inch, 0.99 inches at my house today in terms of rainfall. So a good dose of rainfall at my house today, which is fantastic. Wanted to see that because we do not want to see this drought continue. And we're going to keep banking on it until it's completely gone. And so definitely great rainfall here. And it seems like so far that most people had rain today, at least here in the chat. Mr. Chris says, and happy Easter to everyone. Same to you. Malu says, today in Georgetown we had some rain and some thunderstorms. My nana says, hope everyone had a great Easter today. Mr. Chris says, or excuse me, Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My says, our high today was around 80 degrees. And then she says, or did she put it? Current temperature is 68. So the same where I am as well. Mr. Chris also says it's currently 68. So honestly, all three of us, current conditions right now say 68. Continue our way down even more. Tish says, I'm assuming she's meant to say, hey, Joseph, well, hello to you. And then Terrell says, happy Easter, everyone, same to you. Mr. Chris says, I just saw where we should be getting more rain tonight. Yeah, like I said, there is some rainfall, obviously, to the east. And actually, I have it pulled up on the screen right here. I'm going to go in and do this real quick. And I'm going to go on and change this to this. There it is. So yeah, you can definitely see on my screen where I had it. Look at how much rainfall we have over here on the western parts of the state. So this rainfall right here is going to continue to go on and move its way over to the east, and that's a terrible color because you can't see that. But it's continuing to go on and move its way over to the east, to the south and east, and continue to impact these areas over here. So definitely do not be shocked if you see some more rainfall in the low country or even inside of the Grand Strand areas as well. Now, if we go on and continue looking at the chat even more, it does seem like it says Milo says, hopefully the amount of rain we had tonight will help the drought. I mean, it just determined on where you are. Where I am, though, an inch, that should definitely help it out. Mr. Chris says, we're going to be getting more, and it should help. Milo says, I did see that we will get some more rain in our area early Monday morning. Yeah, like I said, the coastal areas could see some very, very early morning Monday rainfall. It would be like 5, 6 a.m., somewhere around there. So it's possible. It definitely is possible. Mr. Chris also says, please remember to go hit the like button and the subscribe button. It's free. And it helps the channel, absolutely. Right now we have around a good, let me check it out, around a good 19 people that have tuned in and only 8 likes. So if you're a part of that group that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. We have more people tune in and more people not hit the like button than people actually hitting the like button. So let's go on and get the likes up. Let's go on and get them up. And that's all that I can see here throughout the chat. So we'll come back to it. But we have areas to talk about outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, areas outside of South Carolina, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 3 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. So starting off, San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 56, high temperatures for tomorrow at around a good 73, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 53. There is a slight chance of showers tonight, but tomorrow, no precipitation is expected. Now, if we go on and look at that severe weather, look at that excessive rainfall, it does seem that you are in the clear for severe weather and for excessive rainfall. In fact, everybody is clear in terms of excessive rainfall, and it seems like that everybody is clear for severe weather. So yeah, no locations here, none of these 4 areas have a risk for any sort of severe weather, any sort of excessive rainfall event. So for your future, in San Antonio, it does seem like you will continue to stay dry all the way throughout Wednesday. Thursday comes along, you will have a chance of thunderstorms on that day, but as we just continue our way through, temperatures will continue to kind of go up and up and up. Thursday, 82 degrees. Friday, 81. So temperatures will continue to go up, but they're going to continue to stay in the 70s to start off for the week. And then in terms of your precipitation chances, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I mean, the ending of this week could potentially be a bit active. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 47, high temperatures for tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 49. Showers are likely tonight. Tomorrow, though, showers, storms not expected. Now, for your future, it does look like you're going to stay dry for pretty much all of this week, Monday through Sunday. Nice and dry, at least for now. We'll see what happens. But after tonight, it looks like that you're going to be remaining dry. Now, if we go on and look at your temperatures, seems like that you will be increasing in terms of temperatures. Thursday, 70 degrees. Friday, 76. Saturday, 82. So your temperatures will definitely be going on and keeping up. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 40. High temperatures for tomorrow at 58. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 40. Precipitation, not expected. And then in terms of your just future, temperatures will continue to go on and stay in the 50s for your highs, but then as you get through Thursday, 61, Friday, 72, Saturday, 75. So you will continue to go on and keep it up as you get into the end parts of this week and going to try and get up into the 70s. But after that, going to kind of stay there for a little bit. And again, precipitation is not expected for you either. So both Raleigh and Philadelphia being bone dry. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, low temperatures tonight at 44, high temperatures for tomorrow at 71, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 44. A lot of repeating low temperatures, but you will see no precipitation tonight and tomorrow. And then for your future, temperatures will continue to stay in the 70s. Honestly, I don't think you're really going to reach the 80s. Maybe you might, because there's a couple of days to where your high temperature will be 79. So you may reach 80 one of those days, Thursday, Friday. But for the most part, 70s for you. Precipitation is possible on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Showers likely on as you go more and more into the weekend. So it could be an active weekend for you next weekend. So keep that in mind. But that's it. So very, just not active. Very not active throughout these 4 areas. Also, something is it working? Oh, it's working. Okay. My radar was acting crazy this entire time, but it's here, so I can use that again. Let's go in and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Well, a cold front will linger over Florida through Tuesday, bringing widespread showers and thunderstorms and potentially flash flooding. Showers and thunderstorms will be most widespread across the eastern and the central part of Florida. Gusty winds and dry conditions will promote elevated to critical fire weather conditions across the southern plains and the southern Rockies through tomorrow. There also will be some frost going on in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. Some high winds going on up there in Montana. And then maybe even some dust. Yeah, that does say dust. Air quality alert for dust. Down there in southeastern Oklahoma and Bisbee, in the Sierra Vista, in Benson and Wilcox, Arizona. Those areas having some air qualities alerts down there. And that's all. I mean, for the most part, everybody else is quiet. Not seeing anything active at all, just besides what I just read out to you. So that's all that I have to say here for tonight. Let's go in and check out the chat. I don't see anything else here from me. Let me see if I have any pictures tonight. Seems like that I do. Mr. Chris sent me one. Heavy rainfall in Moncks Corner. Sent this around 3 hours ago at 6:01 p.m. And yeah, definitely a good amount of rainfall from this picture right here. If you want to go on and send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Or if you don't want to go through that, you can go on and also send it in on at Twitter at 360_weather. Again, that is 360_weather. Top fans of the night for tonight. Seems like for the most part that it's still actually continuing to be between Mr. Chris and my Aunt Lula, but let's go ahead and check it out. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. I'm just continuing to scroll down. Looks like Mr. Chris definitely did get it for tonight, and then my Aunt Lula got down at number 2, and then my Nana got number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. Again, if you want to be a part of the top fan, you can by joining us here nightly, early, and also being here on time, being active. All of that will help you out. All of that will help you out. So let's go and give a round of applause. And that's all I have to say, really. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Monday forecast update. Also tomorrow evening for your Monday evening forecast update. Nothing too active this week. So honestly, we won't have too much to really talk about except for maybe some fire weather concerns, maybe even some cooler temperatures, most likely. So that will be something to look for. And then I don't really think anything else. I don't think anything else really is coming out. So we'll see what happens though as we continue throughout the week. Make sure that you tune in again, like I said, tomorrow, and then also make sure that you also go on and hit those 2 buttons before you leave. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Easter Sunday.